Once Radhana has cleaned the subconscious and confirmed your motivation to know, merge, and use the infinite, you enter into Prabhupati, or mastery of God. This is the state of neutrality. Your motivation is neutral. No finite thing motivates you. No money, no fame, no sex, no personal advancements is enough to determine your actions. You cease to be manipulated by things. Most of us are so attracted to our possessions and hopes that we cannot create and freely act in the highest consciousness of each moment. We compromise our potential to possess our past. In this neutral state, you sense the infinite in all things. Nothing motivates you except the sense of the infinite experience itself. Motivation comes from the center of your being. The stage of Prabhupati represents the opening and attunement to the superconsciousness. The conscious mind has merged with the subconscious mind, and there is no conflict in the personality. Everything is experienced as a harmony, even if the gross outward circumstance seems challenging or disastrous. A person feels more of the pain of the entire cosmos and more of its joy, but rests in the neutral and sublime state of mind, mastery of God. It is the full awakening and integration of compassion into the personality. Compassion gives man a capacity to forgive the unforgivable. God is bound to maintain the laws of polarity throughout the cosmos. If ill acts are created, then ill acts must be received. If you steal, he must steal from you. This gives order and law to the world. Since these laws govern the events of normal life, the time we live in acts to teach us to come to accordance with universal law and God's will. A man in Prabhupati is an exception. He can go beyond the laws of time and polarity into the state of compassion. He can forgive a thief who has robbed him and even plant in that person the inspiration to reach the infinite. Just have some thoughts about this that, this sort of place we can come into and feel very content, or in a yogic sense, and we can feel as if we're living the principle of Santosha. But also, it's not like we don't feel things. This isn't a jaded feeling. A person feels more of the pain of the entire cosmos and more of its joy, but rests in a neutral and sublime state of mind. Nothing motivates you except the sense of the infinite existing self. To me, this is a place that, for my own personal life, it feels like I come in and out of. I'm not there constantly, but I find myself there a lot, and I have even as a child. And then, going through life, you have different stages, and life is constantly this sort of winding river. But I feel personally in my life, as I go through things or I experience different winds and twists in this slide of life, that one of the things that seems to be an enemy to Prabhupati is the social conflict of expectations of our peers, in the sense of when things happen around us to people we know or to ourselves, or events that we become aware of in the world, there is this desire for the dramatization or the bombastic reactionary sort of part to play in this experience of this thing has happened, and therefore socially we are expected to behave this way about it, to feel this certain emotion about it, to have this type of reaction and sub-reaction to good things or bad things, injustices or rights, in the world. And you can find yourself in this place that is neutral and sublime and full of joy and full of pain. But what sometimes pulls us out of it is the desire to feel connected socially to those around us who may be less practiced and sometimes fall into a more categorically programmed response due to the social constructs of the day and what is current or maybe even trending. And so, for example, B happens, C and D express feelings about it, and we may feel a certain way as F, and we may feel slightly, at least for myself, I've found before, I feel slightly uncomfortable for a moment about the way I am feeling about something because it may visually show this lack of concern as to match what other people would expect out of the situation. And so sometimes I think people start to feel this sense of self that is very self-motivating. They feel a connection to consciousness and they start to feel this elevated place. But then there becomes this fear when they experience things or are made aware of things in different people's experiences and they're brought to their attention and they feel disassociated from what the social norm to react to that bit of news or experience is. And I think the way to work through that is to, once again, it's just that last little layer where your motivation is neutral. No finite thing motivates you. You cease to be manipulated by things. Most of us are so attracted to our possessions and hopes we cannot create and freely act in the highest consciousness of each moment. We compromise our potential to possess our past. So, they cite things like money, fame, sex, advancement in career, whatever, but really just the expectation of our social circle as it grows from very close to more and more extended out, from close friends to family to work to community to state, whatever it may be, the different ideologies that we fit ourselves into. It becomes very interesting to me. A huge part of Prabhupati is allowing yourself to be free of these influences in such a way that it may make you act differently than you feel within yourself about the present moment.